Hi, my name is Charles Mogayzel. I've been playing video games since I was a kid, was starting with the Atari 2600 in the 80s, eventually moving on to other platforms such as the Nintendo NES. Growing up in the 80s, PCs were expensive and not considered for home use. It was not common for someone to have a computer in their home, and often considered for only office use. As PC prices started to fall, along with the hardware and software started to become more advanced, it became a common in homes, but also it became a preference between of a person choosing to play video games on PCs or on consoles as the technology advanced it well into the 2000s. Video game revenue has grown significantly over the last 50 years since the first game creation called Pong. As consoles and PCs became more common, places such as the arcade significantly fell behind the times and revenue fell for them. St- Inventions such as the Game Boy for handhelds also started off strong in the early 80s and eventually too fell behind as technology advanced. With the creation of the smartphones such as the iPhone and Android phones, mobile games became more popular and significant growth in revenue reaching over $100 billion in such a short time. Also, with the creation of VR headsets, since the Meta headset, uh, they are also picking up in revenue as the technology for those will advance. Today's players have the choice between all three platforms, and when they choose to play between all three platforms, they're known as tri-platform players. The preferences they choose between any of the platforms is based on their economics and their geographic location, along with the prices and availability of video games based on their location. While mobile games and PCs seem to be in first with 25% of the choices for players, coming in second is all three of the platforms of the preferences among gamers. A gamer's demographic location will determine their preference between all three platforms. Factors such as economics, access to internet, government regulations on video games, and price will also determine their preference as well. In many countries, mobile phones might be a cheaper option to play video games over consoles and PCs. And another option they have to choose from is also what is known as internet cafes, but in the end, they might prefer mobile gaming over these as well. While console still controls a majority of preference in many demographic locations, it is now followed by mobile phones, and then last, PCs as a choice of playing video games around the world. I chose three different charts, one map to show my data for my data presentation, just to give different types of visualization of how each platform of video games is chosen and affected. One chart I chose was the history to show of revenue between all three platforms over the last 50 years, showing amount of sales on there from what I found on the internet. Aesthetics background is what I chose. I felt the color could have stood out and it made the chart stand a little bit more, and well, along with the text, came out more brighter or stood out a little bit more. So, yep, that's it. This is my presentation.